Happy Monday, everybody. I made a new intro for today. We will be discussing part 1 of the season 17 tell all. So I will see you in 50 seconds.
I would love it if Truly had a great relationship with Cody. Right now, she's a little awkward around him and stuff, and just a little awkward, but I would love it if she was closer to him, definitely.
So this is the first time I've seen Dad since he had COVID. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. When he comes over, it's more like he is just a visit instead of like being there, living there, you know?
You're not going to become a bitter old housewife?
No.
Because your daddy didn't do this for you?
No. He has a lot of kids to think about. It sucks. It sucks that it can't be there.
It was a lot worse than just a phone call for me. And that's the last time I ever talked to my dad.
And she's going, well, you're a coward. Well, no. I'm not a coward. Nothing scares me but poverty. Nothing.
Hello. Let me know that you guys can hear me. I know sometimes I have sound issues. I have noticed that if I restart my computer every Monday before I go live, it tends to help the sound. How is everyone's Monday? I know the Bruins are playing at this very moment. Okay, sounds good. Okay, perfect. So it was really funny. So usually, as you guys know, I wake up on Sunday mornings. I'm usually up before the rest of my household, and I'll watch Sister Wives. It's like the first thing I watch because I like to watch it by myself, not taking notes, not doing anything, just like absorbing the show. Then I usually watch it multiple times by the time we come on together to talk about it. And the comment that Cody, the thing in the world that Cody fears more than anything is poverty, really stood out to me. I was perplexed. I was exactly Suki. I was exactly her face when her reaction to Cody, like, seriously? And out of all the things, your relationship status with your kids, you have had COVID. The thing you fear most is poverty. And what's really interesting to me about, so let me back up one more time. Then I was watching the episode with my husband because he always loves to see what comes out of, or hear what comes out of Cody's mouth. And at the exact same moment, the fearing poverty thing, my husband was like, what? What? So we both had the exact same reaction. Oh my goodness. Negative degrees is never something I like to see. Freezing cold in Edmonton. It actually, supposedly, next week, I live in Central Florida. It's going to get to like 50 degrees during the day. And if it's like that here in Florida, I mean, Godspeed if you are in colder climates, because I just don't even know what it's going to be like. You're in Winnipeg. It's freezing here too. Oh my, you guys. Layers. Everyone layers. The poverty thing made me mad as well. So I'm 35. If you guys are probably 35 to 40-ish years old, your grandparents, if you guys were like me, growing up, my grandparents often talked about growing up in the wake of the Depression, World War II, where things were certainly uncertain and there was a lot of unknowns. So the fear of, when you're talking about like the fear of poverty, like truly, yeah, Cody not being able to have like a the exact kind of nightstand with the exact kind of light that he wants for his reading, the two don't really go. And in the grand scheme of things, when your relationship with literally all of your kids is shit and your entire family is falling apart. You're worried about being poor. Like, I mean, yes, worry about money, like make smart financial decisions. But then that's the other thing. Make smart financial decisions then if you are truly worried about money the way you say. It was just a very bizarre, very bizarre. It's going to be 9 here in Alabama Thursday. 9? Just 9. Oh my god. Negative temps. Yeah, I'm from Southern California. I live in Central Florida. I did live for about 5 years in New York, and we got single digits, but we never got negative. And negative is I cannot. I cannot. What have you guys thought? I've seen a lot of feedback online that this first part of the tell-all was kind of disappointing because we already saw most of it being teased. And I think that's a valid criticism for feedback hopefully TLC takes for next season, is that we enjoy teasers, but having literally 25 to 30% of the episode released beforehand and all the good parts at that, it's like, well, it's like you feel like you've already watched the episode by the time the episode premieres. So it's kind of a bummer. Like literally all of what was revealed in this tell-all we saw in previews. Very disappointing first episode. That's true. It fell a little flat and it flew by. Mary's part was interesting. Mary's part, and I'm going to be more interested to see what Mary has to say because I think that she's revealing a lot of she did not go to bat for Cody and say, "Oh yeah, like the rekindling thing made sense." She was like, "What? That makes no sense because he later on that day he was like, I'm just not coming, Mary. I'm not coming." So all of she really shot down this assertion that Cody was making that he thought about rekindling. By the way, how do you feel? I feel a lot better. So over Thanksgiving, I got like a head cold, like nasal congestion, and that's when I got that cough. And it just lingered. When you're pregnant, you have a weakened immune system and things just stick around forever. So I was still dealing with that, but I was getting through it. And then all of a sudden, after our live on Monday, I had a doctor's appointment the next day and I started immediately feeling like stomach flu. I didn't spike a fever technically, but I did have a higher temperature than Cody. At one point, I had like 100.2. Testing for COVID, I was negative, but it just like wore me out for a couple days. But I am feeling a lot better now. So thank you guys for checking in. That was just like something I did not need in my life, but it happens. It happens. I have a comfy bed, thankfully, and I just kind of was there for a couple days. Sonia says, I feel sorry for Mary, but I am at the point I am over her. You can only feel you can continue to feel sorry for people, but also you get to a point where you're fed up with someone, you know? Oh, thank you, Victoria. Thanks for hosting the conversation. Thanks for moderating. Victoria does a fantastic job moderating. Suki gets verbally abused by Cody. She flinched when he touched her. That was really unsettling. I feel like Cody, I don't know if he misreads social cues or something, but it was very weird, the like sticking his tongue out, and then immediately after that he like lunges over and puts his hand on Suki, and she kind of like recoils, like she wasn't expecting that. Also, you would think if he did read social cues, that when he went up to her, he clearly was going in for a hug when he greeted her, and she met him with a handshake, that probably leaning over and touching her during your conversation wouldn't have been welcome on her part. Anyways, it was bizarre. I know a lot of you guys have feelings on the dog panting that Cody did when describing how here, Deborah, thank you. The dog panting, the tongue, the leg grab. He's losing it. Yep. So when describing Christine and Janelle wanting to come into the family, he mimics like my dog when I have like a piece of pizza. Oh my God. Like, seriously. Gabby, great observation. Every time you think he can't get any lower, he's like, hold my beer. Seriously. And honestly, if Cody and Robin have hired or consulted a strategist for how to kind of navigate this backlash and how to kind of move forward while filming the show, they need to get new people, because it's very obvious they are trying to turn the tide against Christine. But when all of your kids are echoing what the parents say, and the wives are now following Christine's lead, how can we honestly, how can you, Cody and Robin, sit there and honestly think that you can convince us that the entire world that orbits you is wrong and you two are right? It just doesn't make sense. Elizabeth, thank you for bringing this up. Beer and Skittles, the weirdest comment ever. I thought so too. Apparently, it's British. It has some sort of British tie-in, and or I might be confusing that with one of his other isms, but oh, here, hold on. Someone, Brenda Lou, Beer and Skittles is a drinking game, not the candy Skittles. Is it British? Is it British? I feel like I read it's British. And if it's not, and I am just arbitrarily assigning that to the United Kingdom, I apologize. Wowee, it's Monday again. Yes. I feel like this weekend went by really fast. Thank you, Maggie. It's a British pub game. Awesome. Thank you, guys. A coworker in New Mexico used beer and Skittles expression a lot. So so if Skittles is a pub game, so you're having a beer and playing a pub game, where in Wyoming, Utah, Arizona, Vegas did Cody encounter the use of that phrase? That's interesting to me. You guys say what I'm thinking all the time. Who the heck taught Cody that one? That is what I was thinking. I wonder if they get to see the tell-all right after it's filmed. I wonder because one thing that I've seen several of you comment on, and I completely agree, is this jumping around. Like, they clearly take a topic, say the conversation between Christine and Cody, and they get everyone's, response to it, and then they jump around, and it's kind of frustrating. This is why I really want all of them to sit down, all of them to react to the same questions at the same time, because I really don't like this one-on-one sit down. I get why they do it to, I'm sure that Christine does not want to be anywhere near Cody. We know Cody has said he doesn't want to be anywhere near Christine, but it's like, come on, guys. For the sake of making the viewers' lives easier, can we just all get along? Thank you, Deborah. Being sick and still showing up. I'm feeling much better today. Can't wait to see you all better and later with Happy. Are you getting a nanny? What will she do? I wish. No. Not getting a nanny. So we'll just see how things go. Although I will say I do utilize daycare and I love early educators, especially of that age group. If you guys are in the chat, thank you so much. You guys are truly angels on earth. Like for real. For real, for real. Why did Robin say Christine was lying and then told Mary? There is some straight up contradictions happening. This whole Cody, first of all, in no universe do I believe that Cody ever actually truly reconsidered his relationship with Mary. I can absolutely believe that he would use that as some sort of manipulation tactic in a conversation with Christine. I'm finding it hard to believe he had a conversation with Janelle about it, because I think Janelle would be like, that makes no sense, because Janelle's more logical. But he probably did scheme with Robin. I could believe that. And I just found it very refreshing that Mary was like, what? No, 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 no. Like, Mary is not fighting Cody's battles anymore. What does the nanny do? The nanny makes it possible for Robin to get all of her work done. Like, that's what we're told. What that work is, I don't know. You would think though, so if I hired, like, I don't want to judge the nanny because I'm sure the nanny is following Robin's protocols, but my daughter's daycare will often say, you know what, can you send like this and this, we're trying to get her to do, whatever. And I'm like, yes, yeah, whatever you need, tell me what to do. Let me make your life easier. I cannot imagine what nanny is like, yes, let's have this toddler young kid sleep until 10, stay up until all out. Like, that seems like not anything. No nanny or childcare provider that I know of would be like, "Hey, cool, that sounds great." I'd watch a Cody and Robin episode just to see their reactions to a Christine and Janelle spinoff. Ooh, what if this would never happen? But what if it's a Christine and Janelle spinoff, and then Cody and Robin did like the pillow talk reaction to it? That would be interesting. By the way, I thought Robin said that Cody never talks about the other wives to her. She did say that. Yet, she's insisting that Christine threw a fit about the possibility of a reconciliation between Cody and Mary. Robin is a walking contradiction. She is constantly contradicting herself. So, on the one hand, Robin is this great communicator, this relationship whisperer. She has the ability to heal all bad blood between people. But she's been told by Cody not to talk about her sister wives, that it affects her relationship with Cody. Well, then that means she's been shut down and that she's not communicating. So it's not even difficult. So I have watched my fair share of television. And all, like, for example, this past weekend, my husband and I binged season 11 of The Walking Dead because I never watched it. And I was just so, like, enthralled with it. I've been looking things up on YouTube. So now in my For You page on YouTube, it's all these Walking Dead videos. So I've been watching a bunch, and it's like things you missed or things that were never explained. And I'm like, wow, how did I miss so many things? So, watching the show, I often will read in Reddit, oh, did you guys catch this? Did you guys catch that? About various reality shows, 90 Day Fiance or Seeking Sister Wife or what have you. And I'm like, oh, wow, what a good catch. With Sister Wives, it's like you don't even have to look that hard to see these like glaring contradictions. Sorry, you guys. Sarah, love your name. My mom is British, so we use the expression all the time. Dickens used it a lot in his writings, and Cody is a reader. It has now come to have a slightly negative connotation, though. Interesting. We do know that Cody is a reader. TLC must hate Cody and Sabin. They portray them as maniacs. I feel like they certainly are not doing them any favors. And to go back to the beginning, I know, like, last season I did not love Sakanya as a host. I thought it was lackluster. This season, I think she's doing a much better job. But I think we have to keep in mind, a lot of us watching get very frustrated. It's like, oh, you should have followed up with this question. You should have followed up with that question or what have you. I have no doubt that she has specific parameters that she has to adhere to. And then also, Cody's like reaching over and actually touching her right now with the questions that she's asking. Last season, he like flipped out and said he was offended by something she said and he wanted her to take it back. I'm sure that she's doing her fair share of tiptoeing as well, because I'm sure it's just not worth it to her to like upset Cody. So, I don't know if she wants to be on the receiving end of the knife and the kidney. So I'm expecting a little bit of that, and so I'm fine with how the tell-all has been going as far as questions so far. We'll see. And I saw someone posted in Reddit that someone asked, like, where was the follow-up question to this or that? And she actually responded like, hey, there's still 2 more episodes. We shot for several hours. Those answers are coming. So hopefully we'll see those. Annette, does anyone know when the tell-all was filmed? I think it was filmed around October is what I think I've read. It's like interviewing perps in different rooms so they can't coordinate their stories. Yeah. But then I feel like they show them what is said, or at least Sakanya was telling Mary what Cody and Christine said, and so it's like, okay, well, if you're just going to tell them what happened so you can get the reaction, why don't we just get their reaction when it happens? Good point, Elizabeth. TLC wants the control and doesn't want too much out there. Yeah. Okay. That 80s mom says Tell-all was filmed in Utah in mid-October. It was filmed in Utah? I did not know that. I love that Christine said she called Cody a coward. He really is. He takes no accountability for anything, and he can't face any of his kids at this point. He is a coward. He's a shrinking a shrinking violet, or like he withers. He can't He can't stand the heat. Need them all in the same room to confront him about the lies. Yeah, I would have loved to have Cody bring up that he once thought about reconciling with Mary and that Christine flipped out in front of everyone so we can get everyone's genuine reactions. This is a really good question. Why do none of the kids confront their father on his behavior? So Gwen actually answered a similar question on her Patreon about a month or so ago. And she said that they have, that many of them have brought different aspects up over the years and that he gets really defensive. And for them, essentially like they see their dad so infrequently that they kind of just spend the time with him that they spend with him, and then they kind of, there's a lot of unspoken vibes going on. I from what the way she talked about it, the way it came off to me was that the kids have picked that battle before, gotten unsatisfactory results, and it's just not worth it to them to go there constantly. ECE over here, love my job. I love you so much. Thank you for what you do. Like, truly, I could not be in a room. I love my daughter, but 15 of her in one room, 8 hours a day. Woo! God bless. Yay! I love it. ECEs all the way. Robin and Cody don't like that no one likes them. I mean, my mom always told me you catch more flies with honey. Like, be likable if you want to. It didn't Cody use that as a thing that he said to Christine or said about Christine? If you want me to love you, be lovable or something. Well, yes, Mama Cat, I agree. I want them to ask Janelle about it because I feel like Cody would never bring that up to Janelle if he didn't truly mean it. And I feel like if he did bring that up to her, she would have been like, seriously? Mary was being honest. Yeah. And yes, there was a discrepancy on when this gift was. So it turns out the gift was the Rice Krispie treats, which was well into it was the anniversary that they celebrated during the pandemic. That was into season 16. Shutdown happened season 15. And they moved to Flagstaff season 14. So Cody is trying to say this happened when they moved to Flagstaff, but if it's the Rice Krispie incident, it happened years later. So the timing and then the actual event was a discrepancy as well. At first it was his birthday, then it was the anniversary. So you guys, I have to repost this. I think it was a reel I just saw, and it was someone posted or someone sent it to me. So if you message this to me, thank you so much, and I will share it in my Instagram stories. But it was basically like Mary dirty texting Cody, and it was like Rice Krispie cereal. It's like, I've been feeling that, baby. I don't know the words, so no problem on the copyright there, but it was really funny. And then it was like butter enters, and it was really cute. You underestimate the power of a good Rice Krispie treat. Look, my husband will sometimes just bring me a Diet Coke on ice, and my love for him just beams through my eyes because I'm just like, I just love you so much. I love you so much, but in this moment, I love you so, 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 so much. So I get it. Like a good an ice cold Diet Coke. Yeah. At the end of the day, TLC signs their checks. They need to demand these people film as a group. True. And it's like, at this point, Cody, with all your fear of poverty, sit your butt on that couch and have the group conversation. I was almost on Mary's side, and then she said she would reconcile with Cody. I think at that point, all of us were like, oh, come on. Like, you had us in the first half. You had us in the first half. I don't understand the Christine, Mary, Cody dynamic. Do we really think that Christine flipped out when Cody mentioned reconciling with Mary? I think she was probably confused and probably like, oh, so she probably did say something to the effect of, so you're thinking of reconciling with her when she cheated on you and embarrassed you publicly? All I'm trying to do is like have you hang out with me and the kids and like, like how are we the same type of thing. But I don't think that she flipped out. And he is giving, first of all, we all know Cody doesn't give a crap what Christine thinks. So for him to say that Christine's reaction ruined any chance of reconciliation with Mary, we just know that that's blatantly not true. This is the danger, the curly hair danger. Cody's hair reminds me of burnt ramen noodles. So if you guys are around my age, my hair has like a natural semi-wave to it, but it's not curly. If you guys have seen pictures of my daughter has crazy curly hair. So back in the day when I was in high school in the early 2000s, with our basically straight hair, we would use the hairspray, not the aerosol hairspray, but the spray hairspray, and scrunch our hair. Do you guys remember that? Did anyone else do that? And our hair looked wet and crispy. So I want to judge Cody, but like I definitely rocked that look when I was about 15 years old. What does Robin do? According to Gwen, she is still slinging my sister wife's closet, and she is making Brianna and Aurora work for her too. That is allegedly, maybe we will see that relaunch. Maybe they really are rebranding. Who knows? Maybe Mary has a chance for some growth. Maybe. I mean, honestly, for me, objectively, I think Mary has acted pretty crappy this season. I think that she has shown really poor empathy and just like not being not like reading the room and like reading how maybe because sometimes you can like feel a type of way, but like what's like expected of you to say, and like she just wasn't doing any of that. So I think that there are valid criticisms to be made of Mary for this season, but in general, this girl grew up in polygamy. She has been conditioned her whole life to say things like she'll never say polygamy is the problem. And so a certain part of me, I will just always feel sorry for her. A strong interviewer was needed just to pose the hard questions. Yeah, I think that I think that Suki is definitely walking that line, because there are times where she's like, where I'm like, oh yeah, thanks for asking that, and then there's other times where I'm like, oh. Catching up. I'm an ECE as well. I work with school agers, but give me the younger ones any day. Wow. I could see how like maybe a 2 and 3-year-old, because I know how I was when I was in like 4th or 5th grade, and yeah. I don't think the one-on-one is fair. I was a nanny once for a short time. I was the weekend nanny. So they have like all the kinds of help. The parents are there, but you're dealing with what the parents don't want to do. Well, that's lovely. That's lovely. Cody creeps me out. I'm always afraid he's going to snap. There are definite vibes I've heard people equate to their own lived experiences, and I think Cody's behavior is very triggering for a lot of people. Bless that interviewer for putting up with Cody's BS and touching her. That was cringy. Yes, it was. I would have at least been like, "Hey, we need to take 5 minutes." ECE is early childhood education. Oh God, I want Nancy Grace should host the tell. That I think that would be a little bit of an overcorrection, but yes, Nancy Grace, Cody would be like pleading guilty to crimes if Nancy Grace hosted the tell-all. I think Andy Cohen would be fantastic because and because I've seen a lot of people say like Andy Cohen should host the tell-all. Andy Cohen should host the tell-all. And then someone responded, I'm not sure where I read this, might have been Facebook. Like, Andy is far more entrenched into Bravo than obviously Sakanya Christian is into TLC. So he probably has a lot more leeway to kind of be a little bit messier. But I would love for a little bit of mess, a little bit of petty, because Cody is just so absolutely ridiculous. Like, I think it speaks to Sakanya as being like a professional for her to like maintain decorum throughout, listening to like what Robin and Cody have to say. I think it speaks to her level of professionalism. Thank you, Signature Blue. We need Andy Cohen because we need a messy interview. I want to know what will happen with Coyote Pass. I do too. Seems like he's snapped multiple times this season. I'm like tripping over my words. If we saw what we saw on camera, and he let himself get to that point knowing cameras were on him, I think I'm not going to speculate as to what happens behind closed doors, but just based off of what we see happen in front of us, I can only imagine what happens when cameras are not there. And I'm glad I do not want to be a fly on the wall there. Weirded me out when Cody did the panting dog thing. Yes. They are allowed to preview and approve the questions. It's not a free-for-all. Oh, interesting. That makes sense. Lots of people agreeing Andy Cohen. He will be marrying the interviewer now. I think Sukanya is like, no, thank you. No, thank you. This would be interesting. I want all of us to host the tell-all. I have seen them do things like incorporating viewers' questions and stuff. They do that on all the Real Housewife reunions. That would be really interesting. And Sean Robinson has started to do that on the 90 Day Fiance reunions. I would love to see them incorporate, like, take questions from Twitter, take questions from other social media, and have them answer it. That would be great. Andy with Anderson. That would be. Anderson would give that kind of like more serious journalism vibe to it. So, you know, Cody might take it a little bit more seriously then. Judge Judy, Tamron Hall. Oh, Steve Harvey would be great. What about Robin saying they handed him to me, not wanting to be with him? So this is a damned if you do, damned if you don't, in my opinion. So early on in this season, or in this series rather, they would be interviewed all the time on the news. We saw it when they encountered Christine's aunt at that like polygamy debate. It was like, what, like how can you stand sharing your husband? You know, that's always the question posed. And Janelle, I remember, used to say this a lot, like, "Oh, like, I'm just so glad he's not around all the time," you know, like you guys take him type of thing. And like Mary would echo that, Christine would echo that. So that was like kind of the thing, like, we're glad he's not around all the time. So Robin is being a little unfair here, because the reasons why they were saying that, actually, she's being incredibly unfair, because they did say stuff like that. But the reason why is because they're trying to sell plural marriage to the general public. They don't want to completely dump Cody on Robin's lap. They were just trying to say, hey, we're cool with it because we don't like Cody around all the time. So it's really unfair. Cody is draining. That he is. Nancy Grace and pay-per-view for Janelle and Christine. Yes. The interviewer acts like they're all friends. I think it's really a fine line, right? Like, you definitely don't want to come off as antagonistic, because that's probably not going to get her very far. But yeah, like too buddy is also not what the viewers want to see. Robin had a smirk, Duper's delight, and when asked, what would you do if Kay withholds intimacy? This was really interesting, because she was like, oh, well, I just would not allow it. I would march his butt right over to therapy, and I wouldn't let him not talk to me. And then this was an example of when I was glad Sakanya followed up the way she did, because she was like, well, how would you feel if Cody said that he just wasn't attracted to you? What would you do? And she's like, Robin didn't have an answer for that. Maybe that's why Dayton left. I feel like Dayton probably doesn't want to be filmed anymore, and that's understandable. Coyote Pass will never happen. Yeah, I don't think so. Cody has to be mentally ill. I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't know anything about. I know about my own struggles with my mental health, but there definitely seems to be some personality issues for sure. That is for sure. I feel so badly for all of the non-Robin kids. Me too. And I feel bad for Robin's kids. I feel bad for all of the kids. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly just even going through, and it wasn't even hard to, like, I'm thinking of all these clips Oh, the one where Truly feels uncomfortable at Robin's. Oh, when Isabel is crying over her surgery. Oh, where Gabe is crying because Cody forgot his birthday. These aren't hard to find. And it's really sad that there are so many instances of these kids saying to all of us, like, hey, we never see our dad. It's really sad. Apparently, ooh, some tea. Apparently, they're on the verge of losing Coyote Pass. Big balloon payments are coming due. They honestly, though, the two biggest lots are paid off. They honestly, this is the thing, they don't owe very much on Coyote Pass. Like, they owe like a couple $100,000 at the most. Like, literally, when Janelle was saying that if they bought Christine's house, the money that they could have paid in the down payment would pay off Coyote Pass. Like, now granted, you can pay off the land, you still are going to be out hundreds of thousands of dollars before you even start to build. With, we've had people chime in on what it would take to even get construction going out there. Not going to be an easy feat, but the actual land itself, to actually pay it off and just to zone it the way they want, they could do it. They could do it. No one has mentioned the cabin that is owned by Robin and Cody. I think that was the money Janelle said went missing. I think that pardon me. I think that Robin enjoys spending money. I think the girl never misses a sale at her favorite stores. And I think that's evidenced by all the accoutrement in her home. But I am not aware. I know that there are other property or like other domiciles on Coyote Pass, but I'm not sure. That I didn't know that they owned separate property. As much as I think Cody is awful, he did make me laugh this season. The dancing, beer, Skittles, his fear of poverty, chef's kiss. He does come up with a lot of isms, Cody isms. The only thing that scares me is poverty. Well, he's facing that now, so he's bringing on all the drama for ratings. I said this yesterday. I mean, don't run off your 3 money-making wives if you have this big fear of poverty. For me, like, if I'm talking about like big fears, like if we're just like, what are your phobias? What are your fears? Being buried alive for me. And being in an elevator that just suddenly drops. Those are my 2 like big fears. So to me, Cody was like revealing his like phobia to Sakanya, and it was like being poor. What? Not, my daughter had this massive surgery and fear of losing a child, because when you have children, I think fear of something happening to them, or fear of having something happening to you where you're not there for them. Those are pretty big fears. Fear of not being able to have the right bedside reading light is not topping my list as a parent. Well, I have heard that Coyote Pass has a groundhog problem or like a prairie dog problem, something like that. But yeah, they have to like sanitize the land. I didn't. It comes as no surprise. I'm no expert on land. $50K to get rid of them. Holy cow. Gail King would be good. Yeah. Oh, that's true, Allison. She did sit through R. Kelly's meltdown. Yes, I remember that interview. I believe that the mission statement of the show itself is to show the positive side of polygamy, and they've decided not to portray it in a negative light. Could it explain the questions? It could. It could. What if Robin one day decided to leave? Would he go into pick me mode? I think what remains to be seen. I think the Sun ran an article that they're saying Cody is going to marry again. Who knows? It'll be interesting to see how next season plays out if that comes up. Like rebuild. Robin wants to rebuild. What does that mean? Does that mean replace? Oh, Samantha, my aunt lives on Coyote Pass. They aren't doing anything and have caused issues. They are not liked. I've heard that, and that is very believable to me. Coyote Pass is like the word fetch. It will never happen. Sadly, I think this is true. This tell-all was boring. I don't disagree, and I think in large part because literally the like revelations or the hot button topics that were talked about besides like small chat was all things that we saw this week upcoming, in going into the episode. So it was like, well, gosh, I feel like I've watched this episode 4 times already, but really it's because I've just seen the same clips over and over. Good question. Does he still do those awful cameos? I have usually when Cody does a cameo, they will make their way by the grace of God to Reddit. And I have not seen one in a while. But speaking of his hair, one time he did a cameo where he went through all of the hair products he uses. And I think that's where it starts with Cody's hair. I think he's using too much product. He uses like the whole Moroccan oil line on his hair at one time, and it's too much. It's just too much. I read the interviewer is Robin and Cody's neighbor. What? I think a producer is a neighbor. I'm not sure. Oh my God. Cody's next step is Dancing with the Stars. Kate Gosselin did do Dancing with the Stars. So that is not, I would love to see Christine on Dancing with the Stars. I would love that. Good call out, Mike. Christine flipped out when Cody talked about her bad behavior. I'm not a child. Exactly. First of all, I don't know anybody that is in a relationship that has not had some sort of disagreement with their significant other. And with that being said, I would never describe my husband and I disagreeing or, not having a meeting of the minds as either one of us has having bad behavior, because it's true that it's like you're talking about a child. It's very condescending. And Christine was absolutely in her right to flip out about that. Sherry, what would Oprah do with this train wreck? Oprah would not touch this with a 10-foot pole. I don't think. I think Oprah would be like, you know what? Nah, this is too much. I feel like TLC did listen to the fans in a way. They are at least playing clips and having them react. This is true. I hope the tell-alls tell us something we don't know. Don't spoil everything for me. I mean, it's like sometimes I put videos out on Sundays when the episode comes out, and I'm always like, either this is or it's not a spoiler if what I'm talking about is shown in the episode. And then I think to myself, well, really, is anything a spoiler? Because literally the entire week going into the episode, we see a good chunk of what is going to happen. Steve Harvey would clown them. That is true. All right, let's do a couple more comments. Robin said that because they wouldn't be sorry, I misread that. Robin said that because they wouldn't be kids her butt. She said if Christine let her in, then Cody would have wanted her. Robin just I think Robin is just throwing things at the wall at this point to see what sticks. But nothing is sticking. I feel like Cody would be totally different if a man was hosting the tell-all. I agree. Since Cody has no respect for women. I don't think he'd be reaching over and touching a male host, that's for sure. They handed him to me makes me think that's because they chose not to follow COVID protocols. Therefore, they handed him to me. Yeah. Robin is fake. She certainly, I think, wears several like hats or faces or yeah, fake. Yeah. I want to show excuse me. I want to show where Cody gets a diagnosis from a clinical professional. That'll be the day. That'll be the day. Okay, this will be the last comment for tonight, you guys. Sorry, I'm starting to cough a little bit. It really is crazy to think back to season 1 and how happy and lax Cody was. I've always said I liked Cody for several seasons. Now he is just so angry and aggressive. I think maybe he was so happy because he was giddy with Robin. I think that is a very good likelihood. I thought Cody, so when I first started watching the show, I was like, okay, I definitely not something that would be, well, I also was like much, much younger, but not something I would probably participate in, plural marriage. But Cody seems like this dorky guy that's just like super energetic and like all of these kids seem like great kids and the wives seem like such like awesome moms and like okay, like and I was totally on board with it. And then yeah, Cody has really shifted, like taken a real dark turn, a real dark turn. All right, you guys, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. And I am sorry, I got a little bit coughing this evening. But I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Much love.